Hey, what's going on, shooters? I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday and had a good weekend. This video is a little bit random, a little bit off the cuff. Today I've got a handful of phone calls, and our customer service department got a bunch of emails about this. So I figured it'd be easiest to explain for me just to do a video. This is pertaining to all of you shooters that shoot in USPSA specifically, regarding power factor and chronograph. So many of you don't know that in March there was a rule change. USPSA changed rule Appendix C2 relating to the distance of a chronograph. So previously, all screens chrono, so screens chrono is the chrono that you actually shoot through and it has screens over it, had to be set at manufacturer's recommended distance, but no closer than 10 feet, and that would be the velocity that was read. Now, if you're chronographing, remember it's 3 shots, and then they're going to take your average to determine power factor. Now, you'll see lab radars used, and every major I've shot, which is like 20 plus a year, was always lab radar was read velocity at 10. That way we have a set distance of 10 feet. So whether it's a screens or lab radar, it's 10 feet. So that way it's accurate, and if you're hand loading or like us manufacturing millions and millions of rounds, we want everyone's chronograph readings to be set at the same. Now the USPSA in March changed this rule. The phone calls today is because a lot of people are shooting major matches. Some of it was from Dragons Cup and other matches that are going on, wondering why the power factor is higher, that their gun was chronoing higher. Well, now the USPSA has changed a rule that if you're using a lab radar style chronograph, it must be read at muzzle. If you're using a screens chronograph, it is still set to be at 10 feet. Me personally, I don't agree with this, but that is the rule. I feel everything should be at 10, but regardless, now you as shooters have to recognize that there's two different velocity distances. Now, depending on the bullet, the type of gun, your twist, your powder you're using, that could be anywhere from 15 to 30 feet per second difference between muzzle and 10 feet. It really depends on what you're shooting. The reason that Super Vel ammo, if you shot Dragon's Cup, it may have seemed a little bit higher. One, you're in a hot climate, dry climate, and it was at muzzle. So the velocities read on that chronograph were at muzzle. So where we are typically shooting between the 130 and 134, depending on what gun for a 9mm, some of you are probably seeing like a 136, 135, 136, maybe even a 137, 138 velocity. So if you're loading your own ammo, set your velocities at 10, because every year I've shot nationals, I want to say it was a screens chrono. Maybe I missed one. I haven't shot every nationals. Maybe they're using lab radar. I've shot a handful of level 3s and level 2s where they're using a screens chrono. So the safe bet is to set your power factor at 10. But as a customer of mine, don't get mad when I set my power factor at 10, because when you go to a major match, if they're going to read it at muzzle, it is going to appear faster. You pass chrono. The load hasn't changed. We haven't changed anything. We're not going to change anything. I'm not one to chase the USPSA's rule changes. I load ammunition the best quality I can at the most affordable price. That is never going to fail chrono. I do not and will not do the certified match ammo, and some of you know that. My certification is if you fail chrono. We've had one person fail chrono, and they were shooting a less than a 4-inch carry pistol. I covered their flight, their travel, their hotel, their food, their match fee, and replaced all their ammo. And it wasn't our fault. He was using a short gun, but that's my guarantee, and that's how confident I am with Super Vel ammunition is if you fail a chrono, we don't need to certify our ammo. We've had one person. We do north of 50 million rounds a year just in our competition ammo, so I'm not worried about it. But for those of you shooting major matches this year, understand if they're using a lab radar, your chrono is going to appear higher. You passed. Good job. I'm not lowering our velocities, so if you call and you're mad, or you email and you're mad, understand there has been a rule change. You can look it up. It's Appendix C2.3, an updated rule. In all cases, the screens must be positioned and spaced per the manufacturer's requirements. For the chronograph in use, the closest screen must be no less than 10 feet. from the shooting measured from muzzle of firearm to screen. So that's where you get 10. When radar sensing units are used, like lab radars, the orange ones, velocity must be read at 0. So yes, at major matches in USPSA, you're getting 2 different readings. Apparently the small numbers are hard to read velocity at 10, but that's what it is. The rule is what it is, but for you shooters, this is more of a announcement, and I'll just probably share this video to emails that I get as the season goes on, is there was a rule change. We're leaving it at 10. We're not putting it at muzzle, because if someone goes to a major and they're shooting like a Beretta that has a slower twist and the chrono's a little slow as those guns are, like the 92X, which is perfectly fine, then we run the risk of someone being low. Also, understanding your pistols. Those of you who shoot from altitude to temperature to barometric pressure to humidity, everything affects velocity to your barrel. So the 92X is one of the slowest. If you took a 92X compared to a Glock 34, it's almost 7 power factor difference. You compare that to like a CZ and now like the new Canic. We have pistols like in the Care Optics division. I'm seeing it all over because I obsessively track all the chrono data from every major match, and we see chrono data of like a fluctuation of almost 8 power factor from pistol to pistol. So when we load our ammunition and everyone's shooting it, we have to set our chrono and our data at the lowest. It's like no child left behind for guns. So we own and test every gun. We chrono every single day. We use lab radars and screens. We shoot through both, and that's how we set it, and that's why we don't fail chrono. But just public service announcement on ammunition and chronographing. If you are a USPSA shooter, this is why I do it this way. If you guys share your data with me, I create logs on every major match. I track every customer and I see what matches they're shooting, and I log what they're shooting, and I'll reach out to you guys sometimes as customer of, hey, what gun were you shooting? What chrono were they using? What was the weather like? And I want to get as much data as I can so I can put it in our logbooks. That way we can adjust if we need to. That way you guys continue to pass chrono and perform well. Us as shooters, if you see us at matches between me, John, Marco, Max, we all shoot different loads on purpose. So like John will shoot the 115, I'll shoot the 124, Junior will shoot the 147, Max will shoot some magical mystery, just kidding, he shoots our 115. And then the more data we can capture, the better. So for all of you guys that shot Dragons Cup, I know it was windy, I hope you had fun. Best match of the year, sorry I wasn't there. And I'm sure I'll see you guys on the range soon, but that's a little bit of insight to Chronograph. Go read the rules and understand them, and share this with your friends, so that way everyone's not chasing velocity at muzzle, because I don't want no one, whether it's our ammo or any ammo, I don't want anyone failing chrono. So all right, have a great night, enjoy your week.